Yo, tech fam, welcome back to Gadgetools Unlimited. I'm about to do something that ain't often done, and that's give you the real game on my tech career progression from breaking in to unbelievable heights in the industry. From making $14 an hour to $250,000 a year. Grab your snacks, grab your Cayman, and check out this amazing and inspirational story. Hold fast. Family, my name is Warner Bell. I'm an IT professional with 9 years in the industry, currently working as a cloud engineer at AWS. I have over 20 industry certifications, 4 technical degrees, and I have worked in roles from desk side support to solutions architect in private and public sector. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can check out my portfolio website at warnerbell.com. Now let's get right into this story. Now what you're about to hear is probably not going to be a typical story, but really, how can any story really be typical when we're all unique individuals? Now that's not to say that the steps that I took can't be followed, that this path can't be traveled, and that these achievements can't be done by virtually anybody, as long as you've got the will and the desire to make it happen. So let's get started. So back in April of 2016, I landed in Texas, determined to make it in a new tech career, armed with my determination, my CompTIA A+, and Net Plus knowledge, and the certifications that came along with it. Did I mention I had my family with me? And I had just moved across the country from Illinois to Texas. Yep, I talked about all that in another video. You can check out this channel, it's there. You might get a card at the end or something. I'm gonna try to strictly stick to dates, roles, and dollar amounts and how much I worked. You'll get a little bit of context for background, but to hear the full story about everything that was going on at the time, you're gonna have to check out the channel. All right, May 13th, 2016. About a month after I landed, I accepted my first tech role offer through a staffing agency called Tech System. It was going to be for a knock technician role working at T-Mobile way up north, Texas. The position paid $14 an hour with the ability to get some overtime. And I definitely took the overtime because, $14 an hour, living in the Dallas Metroplex area, you wasn't going to be doing too good. You know what I'm saying? It was going to be tight. So I worked 10-hour days, 5 days a week, 10 hours of overtime a week at $21 an hour. All in, I'm bringing home about $700 a week after taxes because I opted out of all the benefits and whatnot because I needed every dime. I couldn't afford medical insurance and dental and vision and all that, right? So I worked as a knock technician on the graveyard shift for 6 months. It was a 6-month contract. T-Mobile didn't renew, so I was going to be laid off. I knew up front that it was a contract and there was no guarantee of it being renewed, so I wasn't really tripping anyway. And I was still submitting resumes the whole time I worked there anyway. I wasn't going to stop, right? I never stopped looking. The recruiter from the staffing company assured me he could find me something else, but I had learned enough to know that by now I need to be hired on with a company and not a contractor, right? But it was a great experience and it let me get my foot in the door. So if I had to do it all again, more than likely I would. That was how I kicked off what is about to be this story I'm telling. So while working that job, I was still humbling. I got my CCNA certification. I finished my associates in IT courses at University of Phoenix and graduated. We bought our first home in Texas, settled in, and we was on some no turning back type stuff, right? So from November 2016 till I got my next role, it was like 3 months. My first day on the job was on my birthday, February 10th in 2017. I had gotten on with an MSP called Unisys as a field engineer doing software and hardware repair for Dell warranty support. The pay rate was $18.57 an hour. And just like that, I got an over $4 raise just by switching companies, right? It was still a staffing agent. Well, it was an MSP, so it was kind of like a staffing agency, but not really. But just the move alone got me $4 extra, which I desperately needed because, again, who can live on $14 in a metroplex? So I'm happy. All in, I was bringing home about $825 a week, and it was only 40 hours a week. So it was more money for less work. And I call that progress. You see how a few dollars can change everything for you? I was working 50 hours a week, making $14 an hour. Now I'm working 40 hours a week, making 18. I get back 10 hours a week of my time to spend with my family, to follow my own endeavors, to start a business or whatever it is I want to do. I'm not working and my whole life all day long and sleeping, right? Which I didn't have no problem with doing because I'm known for working multiple jobs when I got to do what I got to do, right? So, I really did enjoy the job though. I got to travel all over the Metroplex. I learned a gang about Dell laptops and desktops, hardware and software. But you know what really helped me excel at this job? Everything I learned getting that A+ certification from CompTIA. I was doing everything I was doing and everything I needed to know for that job came out of that CompTIA book. So when people say, "Oh, should you get a certification or do you need a certification?" My answer is going to always be yes, for more reasons than one. And if you listen to me talk long enough, you'll be able to hear my perspective on that and hear probably all those reasons. Now, I was on a mission. I had to get us. I took a massive pay cut to follow this dream, so I couldn't rest till I at least matched what I was making up north before I decided to switch careers to tech. So whole time I'm working here, I'm submitting resumes. I had no intentions of playing with them at all. So, a couple months later, boom, I get a bite on one of the resumes I've been submitting. It's for a part-time job, second shift, at another MSP called CH Reynolds, as an access coordinating engineer at a few of the Cisco data centers here in the area. And, I reeled that boy in. Let me get it. I'll take that. It was for $18 an hour too. It was averaging about 20 hours a week starting April 14th, 2017. This is another one of them jobs I enjoyed. It was in a data center, which is a real cool place to work and move around. If you've never been in one, it's very interesting, right? This role, it played well to my networking path that I was on, which, that's what I was looking at going toward. And, it was getting me to my destination. So now I'm working two jobs. And guess what? When I can, I'm still submitting resumes. I got a day job, part-time evening, and I'm still hustling because I know my drive and my determination. I'm finna make this happen in tech come hell or high water. So, and by the way, if you're feeling this content so far, do me a favor and take a second right now to like, subscribe. It'll cost you nothing and it'll help your boy out a ton. And if you want to hear more stories like this, hit the bell icon so you can get them when they're hot. Now, where was I? So in March 2018, I get another play. Now, I've been working my day job for a year and the night job for 10 months. This one was going to replace the day job if I could pull it off. I was finally going to be getting on with a company directly. But it wasn't really a company, it was a junior college. And the position was a salary position for a PC support specialist, level 1, making $46,600 a year, which equates to about $22.50 an hour. Another nice bump. Now, can you imagine that? Think about it. I worked as a knock technician for $14 an hour, a warranty support engineer for $18 an hour. And when I got on with the college, the PC support specialist position, level 1, was paying $22.50. So it just goes to show you the variance within the industry between employer and salaries and even position names. So it's really a mixed bag. This was going to be a very stable income I had never been salary before, so it was going to be interesting to be on it. And I was well on my way. But I still didn't quit that part-time job at the data center. I kept it. In fact, I kept it until the COVID lockdowns of April 2020. So I was there for about 3 years. And it was part-time, so it was easy to keep the second job that long. But when I wasn't there and when things got slow at the second job, I even tried my hand at Uber Eats and DoorDashing for a little while. And I did pretty good at it. It's pretty busy around here on them driving apps. So I was doing everything I can to make a dollar. 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, it didn't matter to me as long as we was able to take care of what we needed to make our situation nice and live our life in this new city. That's what I was going to do, me and the wife at the same time. And that's what we did. And I was doing all that until I got the network support role at the junior college. I mean, I was going hard, monster status. But hold on, let me back up a minute. So I stayed at the college for quite a while. All told, it was 6 years, and leveled up 6 times with higher positions and more money each time. So I'm going to go through each position, how long I was in it, and the salary for each to the best of my recollection. So it started out as a PC support specialist 1. I was making about $47,000, $47,600 annually, and that was in March 2018. The next position was system support specialist. I got it that same year. I think it was about 6 months later. That got me up to $53K. Now, during this time, I had stopped submitting resumes. I had planned on giving the college about 3 years before I moved on, if didn't nothing shake there. But it did, so I ended up staying longer than I originally planned. So the next position was Network Support Specialist 3. Now let me pause right here, because you might be like, how the hell did he get 3 positions in 2 years? Well, let me tell you, I was well overqualified for that PC Support 1 role, but I took it because it got my foot in the door at the organization, and it was more money and more stable than the role I was working at the time. So to me, that was a no-brainer. I didn't have no loyalty to one or the other. I'm trying to get myself up here. So I was going to make whatever move I figured was going to best facilitate that, right? I didn't stop upskilling when I got the job. I doubled down. While I was doing my thing, I completed a bachelor's degree with WGU, and I got several additional industry certifications. This was one of the situations where degrees mattered, and if I wanted to advance to a higher tech position, I had to have that bachelor's degree. So I did that. Network operations and security, and not long after I graduated, the Network 3 position came up, and I went for it, and you know, a player got that thing. And with all the additional certs I had gotten, I was able to negotiate the salary and came out with about $62K. So now it's 2019 and I have finally arrived. I have replaced my salary before the switch in 2 short years. And now I can relax a little bit, stop all these side hustles, and enjoy the fruits of my labor and time with my family. And so that's what I did for about a month or so, and then I was back at it. You couldn't sit me down for nothing, right? I'm back in hustle mode, but now I'm hustling on my own interests instead of hustling strictly for a bag or for necessity, right? So I started a small business. I started investing. I started this YouTube channel, and I started enjoying my new life, and I'm doing my thing. By now, my name was busting around the workplace. My director used to brag about me all the time. He used to call me the rock star. And that's how the Techstar brand really was born. You know what I'm saying? I'm your tech star. Man, when I think about them times right now, and I'm just so thankful for all the experiences I had, and all of the love that was shown, all the people I met. I met good and bad people along the way. And that was just a real surreal time in my life at that time. So I'm just thankful for the experience, and I look back on it as a fond time, right? So now it's around February 2020, a year later. right before the pandemic. A system administrator position was about to come up. Somebody was suddenly retiring who ran a key application, and only he knew it, and he was leaving in a week, and the CIO needed somebody with skills to jump down and basically save the operation, learn everything about what the guy had been working on with no documentation, and be technically savvy enough to either fix it or rebuild it. And my name had blessed her ears apparently, and she called me personally and told me the situation and asked me if I was up for the challenge. And you better know I took that opportunity and ran with it. So the system administrator role was going to be with the enterprise applications team. And it was going to be a nice little hefty bump for me. When it was all said and done, I came away with about $75K. And at that time, I had 2 degrees and at least a dozen certs. So I was able to command the higher salary band for my expertise and technical savvy, right? So now I'm dialed in. My career was going better than I could have expected, and I was living up to the reputation. I mean, I was really operating on a super high level. I rocked that system admin role for a little over a year. And just like clockwork, another opportunity presented itself. And let me just say this. I was able to take full advantage of every opportunity that presented itself to me because I never stopped growing, and I never stopped learning, and I never stopped progressing. I didn't have to get ready because I stayed ready. So the new role is going to be a senior system administrator on the data center team and lead of my own team of the cloud collaboration group. And I jumped right on it, built the team, and we start handling that business. And I still never stop upskilling. By now, I done got turned on to cloud computing, and I made that my career path of choice. I got an opportunity to get access to some AWS training, and I never turned it loose. Now, this new position was going to be a nice step up. All in, I came out with $90K. And I started that position in May of 2021. So it had been right at 5 years since I showed up in Texas, hollered at the tech industry like, let me in, coach. And I spent a little over 3 years in that role and solidified my bona fides as a tech star while I was at it. My name was certainly preceding me at this time, and it felt real good. And I thank God for guiding me to my destiny, because I feel like that's exactly what it was, right? Now, while I'm being a high performer, a high earner, and an all-around tech pro, I still never stopped. I went on to get all the associate level cloud certs from AWS and an associate level cert from Azure, a postgraduate degree in cloud computing from the University of Texas, and an MBA in IT management from WGU. And now it's April 2024. Life is good. And life has definitely been happening in the background. I mean, we sold the first house and built one in the community we aspired to when we first decided to move to Texas. We were prospering abundantly and had a heck of a story to tell about how, against all odds and all expectations, we are here and we are thriving. And my wife has an equally inspiring story as mine. Maybe one day I can convince her to tell it. So now I'm ready to make my next move be my best move. I had turned down 2 opportunities in the meantime because I was serious about that next move and had made it to 6 figures and had become very knowledgeable in the tech space. And I had a plan. The next opportunity was going to be a product of my own will and action. And that's when I began to seek fulfillment of my ultimate goal, going back out into the corporate world and securing a role at the largest cloud services provider in the world. And I got a 3-part series on this channel going through all of how that happened. And if you're interested, go check it out. But long story, not much longer. I got the role in July of 2024 with a total compensation package hawking $250,000. And that brings us up to the present. And I bet you know, I ain't through yet. I'm still upskilling. I'm still doing certifications. And I still plan on excelling to greater and greater heights in this industry. So stay tuned because it's plenty more to come after this. So that's the story, Tech Fam. From $14 to $250,000 in just about 9 years. From zero to tech hero with hard work, determination, and persistence. Anybody can do this. And I don't even mention the obstacles and the challenges. I'll tell that story another time. And until the next video, Tech Fam, peace.